I'm joined tonight by Lakers insider Mike Bresnahan and longtime NBA writer Kevin Ding, who I just found out is also, there's the ding, 8-time fantasy basketball champion in the LA Media League, and Brez has not won a single title. Is that true?
That's a sore spot, John. You know, I don't know if you want to start off there with Brez.
It's actually true. I have like a half-dozen second-place finishes, so my silver medal collection is really second to none. But I really, if I had some of the dubious trades that Kevin Ding pulls off every year with like a softball buddy
Sour grapes,
or a third cousin that nobody's ever met, then I too would have alleged eight championships.
Yeah, but you've got some lovely parting gifts for your second place finishes
he's been solid.
along the way.
Solid, John.
We have to start the show like we always do, it seems like, with injuries. LeBron James left in the fourth quarter of Wednesday's loss to the Clippers, did not return. A grim sight for Lakers fans. Not unusual for his Laker tenure. LBJ has missed 25 or more games in 3 of his first 4 seasons here in Los Angeles. Sat out 1 game already this year. Earlier at practice today, head coach Darvin Ham gave us an update on LeBron.
He had his MRI and he has a strained left strain abductor, and so he'll probably be doubtful for tomorrow. Yeah.
So doubtful.
Beyond that, yeah. I have no idea. It's not torn. That was my biggest thing, just that he didn't tear anything. So it was good news, even though it's, I'm sure it's painful and it's, doubtful day to day, whatever. I'm just happy there wasn't anything torn.
We heard Darvin Ham saying LeBron is doubtful for tomorrow's game with a left adductor strain. The Lakers have games tomorrow and Sunday. Then they have 4 days off. Kevin, would you like to see LeBron maybe sit a few games to make sure that he does get right and not force anything with his health so early in the season?
Whether I or anybody else would like that, I think it's going to happen. It's obviously the smart thing to do. It's a schedule glitch that is going to benefit the Lakers absolutely. The fact that he only missed 2 games, he can get a lot of rest and rehab. And to be honest, I think there's tremendous concern in Lakerland that LeBron's already hurt, and understandably so. But to be honest, this is not a severe injury. This is something that he can come back from hopefully in 8 days and not really derail the season. At this point, I think a lot of fans are worried about the derailment.
Yeah.
But as far as the injury itself goes, an adductor strain, a mild adductor, I mean, he'd been feeling stuff. You could see him wearing the sleeve, the whole game over his leg. But it's not something that you can compare to, like, Christmas Day a couple years ago or stuff like that.
Yeah, even he said right away after the game, excuse me, it's not as bad as you thought. It's not as bad as people thought. So that's good news for LeBron. Because indeed, a couple years ago, when he got hurt on Christmas Day at Golden State, he was out for 5 weeks almost. So this is already like a big sigh of relief for Laker faithful, for Laker employees, for people who have LeBron on this fantasy team. Do you have him this year, Ding?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
But no doubt, when you see a guy leaving halfway through the fourth quarter, going to the locker room like he's doing right there, kind of trying to figure it out, a little bit of a limp there, obviously, you definitely get nervous about that. And the fact that he's able to say, guys, it's okay. He was even out there shooting barefoot today with his flip-flops on. These are good signs for this type of injury, for sure.
Yeah, he looked like he was in an amount of pain last night, so maybe they did dodge a bullet with the adductor strain this time around. But LeBron, he just signed the extension prior to the start of the season. Chris Haynes came out with a report earlier stating that sources say LeBron does not want to waste a season of his high-level playing days in hopes of reinforcements coming next year, Brez. Do you see something possibly coming to a head this season in regards to LeBron in year 20?
Well, I think what we're going to see is a trade. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I think at some point the Lakers will feel the need to, hey, we have to try to change something up. So when you say coming to a head, do I think he's going to get upset and demand a trade? I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't know. You can never predict these things. Look, Ding will be traded in the summer of 2007, so we have seen it before. That worked out pretty well for the Lakers. About 6 months later, Pau Gasol shows up. The Lakers go to 3 NBA finals in a row and win 2 of them. So there is a chance that he does ask to be traded, but right now I think there will be a trade, just not involving him.
Well, Brez, you bring up Kobe, and let's just imagine in a world, alternate universe where this is Kobe instead of LeBron, right? At this point in his career. But, people forget it. LeBron is still at a point where he's one of the best players in the NBA. Like Kobe was not at the end of his career. So if Kobe was still one of the best players in the NBA at this point in his career, do you think that Kobe would be clamoring to keep his window open, like to be doing the absolute most he could. Absolutely. I mean, so I don't think there's anything wrong with LeBron demanding that the Lakers try to compete for a championship while he's still at this level. It's just a matter of, practically speaking, like, what can you do? And if you made your big move with Russ Westbrook and LeBron was on board with that at the time, then now you go back. There's no going back. Like, that was the move, right? And so that's the tough spot that the whole group is sitting in. But I understand how LeBron feels, and I think that's the way he should feel as an all-time great who's still one of the best players in the league.
And you don't want to see them necessarily throw good money after bad and make a deal just to try to appease him, I imagine, Kevin, at the same time, because you've got those picks in 27 and 29, which will be valuable at some point.
Well, you bring those up, and I think if we go going back to the past, learn from history again, that's the reason, or one of the reasons, why Jeannie gave Rob Pelinka that contract extension, is so he's not in a position where he has to do something just to compete now or win now, and it sacrifices the future of the franchise. And you know, you remember that Jim Buss was in the same situation. They sat on that available money for year after year, and then they couldn't get somebody to take it. Then they get Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng, and because Jim Buss wanted to win, why not? Like, why not save myself, right? At that point, and so the Lakers can't do that. They just can't do that again.
Yeah, obviously different terminology, because that was a free agency period. If the Lakers do stand pat, they'll have about $33 million to spend next year in free agency. So that would be the temptation, because that's a pretty big number. You know, Russ comes off the books, obviously, and they have a couple guys besides AD and LeBron on next year's books. But if they stand pat and don't change the roster that much at all, that's kind of what they're looking at. A nice little pot of gold, potentially at the end of what is right now a very tough season so far.
And one of the guys in the trade rumors, Miles Turner, he is a free agent after this year, so they could use some of that money possibly to bring him in if they truly do like him. Now, despite the Lakers' early season struggles, newcomer Troy Brown Jr. has been a bright spot for the purple and gold. Over the last 5 games, Brown has been a solid contributor, averaging close to 13 points, shooting 50% from the field, 36% from distance. Following Thursday's practice session, he talked about making the most of his opportunity this season.
I think it's just more so of my play is kind of speaking it for itself, so it's kind of letting me have more of an opportunity on the floor in some situations. Like we said, like in Chicago, I played more of the 4, like more pick and roll, like kind of sat in the corner and didn't really do much. So being able to just have this opportunity, I just try to take advantage of it every day, you know, trying to work with Phil, trying to talk to D-Ham, just kind of see what everybody's thinking. And like I said, just let my work, you know, do the talking. I feel every year you got to, you know, when you go into that summer, you got to pick out the things you need to work on and continue to get better, especially for a young guy like me. I feel like there's always opportunity, and you just got to stay hopeful and keep your head up. And so I finally got my opportunity. I'm just trying to seize it and take advantage of it.
Troy's been great, and I believe in any role. I believe in any role Troy would be great, and he's been playing great ball since he got back into the lineup. Either if he was coming off the bench when he first came back to now he's starting. Troy's been great. He's been amazing.
It's been a rough start, Lakers at 2-9, but Troy Brown has been one of the biggest bright spots on this team. We heard just right there LeBron talking about it post-game. Has Brown solidified his spot in the starting lineup, do you think, Kevin?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, nothing is solid. There's guys, you know, who are still out. There's